'Twas 991 AD, in the eve of our Lord, when the raiders came and put folk and stand to the sword. Gather round, my friends, and I'll tell you once again about the day the heathens came. The day it was peaceful, not a thing was astir. The people knew not what was soon to occur. On the sandy shores were children playing games on the day the heathens came. On the horizon the sails were glimpsed, the yell horn was blown, and the sun it was eclipsed. The sky it grew dark, and it began to rain on the day the heathens came. They were led by Olaf, the Norwegian king. They went on to commit all manner of sins. Their intention was to kill, steal, and maim on the day the heathens came. They demanded to know where our riches were kept. They pillaged the church where Our Lady Eanswave slept. I cannot tell you how many were slain on the day the heathens came. Entreaties were made by the priests and the nuns, while parents protected their daughters and their sons. They heeded not our cries, our pleas for mercy were in vain on the day the heathens came. When their bloodlust was sated, they began to retreat with the spoils of the raid. Their hulls were replete. They left us in fear, our village still in flames on the day the heathens came. On the day the heathens came. On the day the heathens came. Though I enjoy the Yuletide by the fire with a mug of mulled wine, my thoughts turn to the new year once we've sang Auld Lang Syne, and long for the spring and the promise that it brings of snowdrops and of celandine. Once the wassail has been drunk, I begin to look for signs. The lambing has begun at last, and the birds return to our skies. And I know in my heart that spring will soon start, with snowdrops and with celandine. As I walk through the meadows, come rain or shine, they turn their heads to greet me like they were old friends of mine. And the sun in the sky warms me as I lie among the snowdrops and the celandine. And the sun in the sky warms me as I lie among the snowdrops and the celandine.
Awesome. Nick, how are we doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Lovely, lovely place to record, by the way.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You were saying off camera that you are an archaeologist.
I was, yeah. I was a historian archaeologist. Then a few years ago, I had a bad back injury, so I can't do it anymore. But it was the greatest couple of years career-wise of my life, I think.
Awesome. Any stuff in particular you got to work on, or?
Down at the Dover Marina, where they just completely redone all that. That's where I actually met one of my best mates now, actually. We bonded over archaeology, Blackadder and real ale. So,
what a combination. That's so good.
Oh, yeah. But that was quite good. That was quite good down there, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And how long have you been playing for?
I've been playing guitar since I was about 16. My mid-20s, I joined with a couple of chaps and we were a rock and blues band called Backburner for a bit. You know, didn't really do any originals, just covers. And then it came very apparent that we all wanted to play different music. And so I wanted to do more folky stuff. Went off and realised how awful I was because of the guitar and the drummer fighting for sound. I could never hear myself. So I just played sort of rock and pop for years. Just wrote some very sort of forgettable pop songs. Took a few years out after lockdown. And then come back to it and just really embrace the folk. You know, I've kind of gone down this rabbit hole of folk music, and I'm quite enjoying it.
Do you listen to anyone in particular at the moment?
Folk-wise?
Yeah. So
my wife introduced me to a band called the Trials of Cato, a Welsh band. I don't know if they're together anymore. I think they might have broken up, but the debut album, I think, won sort of like BBC Two Folk Album of the Year award or something like that. And they're really, really good, a trio of chaps. Kate Rusby, the great Kate Rusby. Okay. You know, and of course the sort of classic Steel Eye Span. You know, actually Ferocious Dog. They're more sort of punk folk, but
don't know them.
They're calling it a day themselves. They're doing one more tour this year, and then they're calling it a day. And if you get the chance to watch Ferocious Dog, I really recommend it. They're a great band.
Awesome. Are they UK-based band?
UK band, yeah, from up north. I think I don't think they're. I don't want to say where they're from because I can't remember, but it's definitely up north somewhere.
Awesome. Okay, that's really cool. You said as well you've got. Is it an album or an EP? Sorry.
Yeah, so I've got an EP that's going to be out soon. I've actually released the first single today. It's just a 5-track EP of trad folk, and these are songs that I listened to when I was growing up. My dad brought home this kind of like folk music of England CD.
Nice.
And these were some of the tracks on it. And so the likes of Ian Giles and the Amber Quartet, Dragon's Fire, these kind of people, I was sort of heard them growing up and just really enjoy the history behind and the stories behind the trad. So I've released White Cockade today, which is about... so if you wore a white cockade, this kind of ribbon, knot of ribbon, it means you were supporting Bonnie Prince Charles.
Okay.
In the Jacobean Revolution of the 18th century. So it's quite a fun little song. And I've got a couple of friends including my dad, to come and do some backing vocals on it. So
wicked. And you recorded at Magpie?
No, that one was recorded with my friend George.
Okay.
But the one I'm recording at Magpie is a country EP. These are older songs, some of them co-written with a former girlfriend. And so it's about time that I just wanted to... I had this 6 tracks and I was like, I want to get them out there. So with a couple of friends of mine, Charlie and Tom and Abby, Abby's doing some duet vocals on it as well. That's probably going to come out later this year or early next year. I want to take my time with that one and just get it right, you know.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to go. Yeah. Have you got anywhere in particular you like performing in Kent?
The Dover Booking Hall.
Yeah,
I've
not done that one yet.
Oh, it's incredible. I've done a few bits there over the years, but the highlight was I got a really, really excellent opportunity to support Seth Lakeman, one of the great Lakeman brothers, down at the Booking Hall, and it was incredible because you're never sure as a support act if the audience is going to be there, whether they're going to come in dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
But from the minute they were all there, I played the first song, got a really big round of applause, and I was like, oh, they're actually interested. Okay. And so it just sort of kicks in. And it was such a wonderful gig. And,
Awesome.
and he's a really nice guy. And so that was probably, I always love playing in those kind of venues.
Yeah, that's something I really miss about the original scene. Just hanging out with other bands.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's so much fun. Like, and just you get to support each other as well.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
just you watch each other's sets, and then it's something that I find a lot of younger bands now, they don't quite get. If you're not there for the hang, you miss out on a lot of the opportunities.
Totally.
Because you want to be those people that a bigger band goes, yeah, they were pretty solid, actually. Should we invite them on tour?
Yeah.
You never know if that's going to happen. So. What else have you got planned?
So I've got, because it's festival season, I've got a dozen various festivals coming up.
Cool.
Sort of mostly in Kent, but some a few beyond. So, for example, on the when is it? In the first Friday in July, which I think is the 3rd, I'm playing at Folk in the Field Festival, which is up near Kings Lynn.
Okay.
Annoyingly, one of my folk heroes, Mark Chadwick of the Levelers, is playing on the Saturday night, but I'm not going to be able to stick around. I've got to play my set and drive back that evening because I'm playing at the Sandwich Folk and Ale Fest the next day. But I'm actually going to be spending a week up in Norfolk, Suffolk area, just doing a bit of a sort of tour, playing in a couple of venues, just kind of, I call it a tour. It's only a couple of nights, but still,
it's more than one gig. It's fine. That's all
it's
good.
away from home. I'm sleeping in a tent again. It's great.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Have you got any... You've obviously been doing this for a while. Have you got any advice for younger musicians who, let's say, maybe doing their first gig?
Their first gig, rehearse.
Yeah.
Rehearse, because it needs to be second nature, so that when you get out on stage, you might be nervous, you might have the butterflies, but you've got it there. And then once you get that first song under your belt, you'll be away. But certainly rehearse, know your songs inside out, and just get to know people. Like what you were saying earlier about hanging around after, like, don't just play your set if you're on a showcase and clear off.
Yes.
Like, look at the other acts, see what they're doing well, speak to them, learn from them. And as you said, because it doesn't matter how good you are, if you're not an amiable person, they're not going to want you on tour at another gig. So you've got to ingratiate yourself to people. You've got to, and I know it's difficult sometimes when people come up to you and they say, you don't want to be a sycophant. So you're kind of like, oh, how did you think my set went? So I always try and find something positive, even if, and it sounds quite arrogant, but even if I didn't think that person was particularly good or the songs they were playing weren't particularly, they didn't do it for me personally, I will still try and say to them, look, I really liked the way you played guitar on this song. Yeah. Just something positive for them, because
that's really good.
We beat ourselves up enough. We don't need other people doing it.
That is so true. Oh, God. Yeah, we are definitely our strongest critics. I've had so many of these moments. Have you ever had a moment which really humbled you as a musician?
Really humbled me as a musician. Yes, I'm trying to think of one the one that really sticks out in my mind was I played at the UK West Coast Folk Festival last year, and I was playing on the introducing stage, and they do like a voting system, and whoever wins gets it.
Okay.
Now, I thought I was at as good a chance of as any. I don't think I got nearly anywhere near the votes to sort of go for the next stage. So that's quite humbling. But there was a duo there who shall remain nameless. He was a bit strange because everyone there was really, really nice. And then I was chatting to him before. He was like, "How you feeling?" I was like, "Oh, I'm really, really a bit nervous." And he was a bit like, "Oh, well, maybe you shouldn't be here then." And I was a bit like, "Oh, okay."
Ouch.
I was like, "Oh, all right." but after I came off stage, he was actually a lot more polite to me. But I think that was quite sort of humbling to have that sort of reaction before you even heard someone perform, to have that attitude towards them because they're a bit nervous.
Yes, yeah. It can be quite a scary industry sometimes. Like there's a few players that I know, and I aspire to a few of them. And when I watch them play, I'm just like, I've got a lot of work to do.
Oh, of course.
I've got a lot of work to do. But everyone brings something different to the table. Yeah. You could be the greatest player in the world, but if you're an arsehole, you're never going to get hired. So,
but also even the most virtuoso musicians, they might not be able to connect to the audience. I mean, we've all been to, you know, gigs, open mics or whatever, and there's someone there who's like, they're fantastic, wonderful, and you're like, okay, yep, great, they know what they're doing. And then someone comes up and they're not the greatest guitarist, but they've written a beautiful song. They've written a song where you're like, oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. And then, you know, it is really horses for courses. I mean, you know, if Bob Dylan can do what he did, I mean, I know he was an amazing writer, but let's face it, you know, his voice isn't for everyone.
that's true.
You know, and his musicianship, you know, he's not going to be considered a virtuoso on an instrument, but he had something, a connection, and you know, and so anyone really, you know.
I agree. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Nick, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it. If you could just very quickly tell people where they can find your music, and then also if you've got it available, where they can buy it.
Yes. So I do the social media. I do Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Nick Lawrence Music. So give us a like and a follow, please. I'm not as moody as my pictures pretend to be. I do have physical CD copies. I know not everybody has CDs nowadays, but I think with the demographic that I tend to have come to my gigs, they still want physical copies of CDs.
I like a physical copy.
Yeah.
It's nice, especially if someone signs something.
Totally,
for you.
yeah,
It's great.
exactly.
It's an actual proper memory.
Memory of the night. Yeah, no, totally. But if you don't have CDs, my stuff's all on all the streaming platforms. Excellent. And if you do want to buy a digital copy, you can always look on Bandcamp as well.
Fantastic. Yeah. On there. Support local music, buy people's stuff. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks, Nick. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Nice one.
Cheers.
And it began to rain on the day